In just hours, justice for the death of 16-year-old Preston Lord could begin as one of the attackers will hear his sentence in court today. Now, this all started back in October of 2023 when Preston Lord was brutally beaten to death outside of a Halloween house party in Queen Creek.
Lord's death exposed a larger issue of teen-on-teen violence across the valley and really shed a light on this hybrid street gang now known as the Gilbert Goons. Everybody was talking about that. So community members, they organized big events. They pushed for new legislation, all in honor of Lord, demanding change and accountability after that murder. 7 people have now been charged. So far, only 1 has pleaded guilty. So all eyes will be on the Maricopa County Superior Court today as people wait to hear that first punishment come down.
12 News journalist Troy Lynch joins us now live outside of the courthouse. Troy, tell us a little bit more about the teen expected in court today, because like Justin mentioned, a lot of people are going to be watching this, and then some of the other teens charged might make some decisions differently after seeing what happens today.
Yeah, you're absolutely right. I mean, so many people ever since Preston Lord died back in October of 2023 have been waiting for justice to be served, and they're hoping that today is just the first domino that falls and knocks down all the other dominoes right now. But William Owen Hines, he's a 19-year-old. He was 17 at the time of the attack. He is due in court later today to learn his sentencing. Now, he's facing 10.5 to 21 years in prison. Hines was the first of the group known as the Gilbert Goons who was accused of attacking Preston. He's making a plea deal. He pleaded guilty to manslaughter. It's a reduced charge in his role in Preston's death. However, the deal was made as he also pleaded guilty to 3 other unrelated aggravated assault charges. Now, Preston was killed at a Queen Creek Halloween party in October of 2023, and early in the investigation, a police report showed Hines admitting to kicking Preston, saying, quote, "I was drunk, heat of the moment. I kicked him one time and I kicked his leg," end quote. Now, he and 6 other teens and young adults were arrested 5 months after Preston's death, all charged with first-degree murder. Now, when Hines pleaded guilty to his manslaughter charge at a settlement conference, Preston Lord's family was in court and had this to say.
To say we miss our son is an understatement. Preston was our world, and now we are left to face an unimaginable future without him. Today is incredibly difficult for us. We would rather be anywhere than here, confronting one of 7 defendants responsible for our precious son's death. That said, accountability is crucial. This defendant must answer for his actions, and we believe the plea agreement is appropriate in this case.
Now, the family, we assume, hoping that other plea agreements are going to be coming. 2 more defendants in this case, Jacob Meisner and Taylor Sherman, now have settlement conferences scheduled for the end of this month. And 12 News asked the county attorney about that, and she declined comment on plea negotiations, adding that they may or may not result in a plea. Now, back to Hines. He is supposed to be having his sentencing hearing later today at 1 o'clock, and we're expecting it to last a couple of hours because there are supposed to be a few different victims' statements. We're live here in Phoenix. Troy Lynch, 12 News, Today in AZ.
Troy, thank you so much. Now, to give us more legal insight into what's expected to happen today with Hines' sentencing, we have criminal defense attorney Adam Ashby. Adam, thank you so much for coming back with us and talking more about specifically this case, because I know you know a lot about the Gilbert Goons and this case as a whole. When you look at what's happening today, why do we take the plea deal? Why do we not go to trial? Why that decision for Hines and for some of these other people who are going to be charged too?
Yeah, that's a good question. As we know, all of these accused have been charged with felony murder, first-degree murder. The consequences essentially are 25 years to life. If you go to trial and lose, you could be looking at a life sentence. Rachel Mitchell in the county attorney's office has taken death penalty off the table, but life in prison is still a possibility. So taking a plea agreement, I mean, that's the way our system works, right? Is if we can come to a resolution where everyone can live with it, that's the way that the system works, to give people an opportunity to receive mercy and to kind of lock in their sentence and not have the likelihood of serving life in prison.
So what this gang affiliation, the Gilbert Goons, and I know that they were trying to get this classified as a gang, And so does that change anything as far as the punishment goes? Because they did classify it as a gang.
Yeah, they did classify it as a gang, but however, they were not able to bring gang charges against them. They said that there was not enough evidence to do so due to the fact that they weren't an affiliated gang, but rather what they classified as a hybrid gang. Both are still classified as gangs, but they're not able to bring gang charges, which could bring harsher sentences, mandatory prison time outside of just the 25 years to life.
If you're one of the other 6 charged in this case, what are you looking at today specifically?
Yeah, how the judge responds. So the judge has all the power today. In the manslaughter charge that Mr. Hines pled guilty to today, he's looking at 10.5 years to 21 years. That's
And what did he had to agree to something, and what was it exactly that he admitted to?
So he agreed to recklessly or intentionally being part of the killing of Preston Lord.
Okay.
And so the judge then has the opportunity to either sentence him to 21 years or as little as 10.5 years, which still isn't little.
No.
I mean, that's still a decade in prison.
Right.
But that he has the opportunity to pick a date. And if he is very harsh and gives him 18, 21 years, that may deter the others from taking a plea deal and thinking, you know what, I'm going to get 25 years to life if I go to trial, or I'm going to get 21 years if I don't.
Oh, that's interesting.
Why do you think this case got so much attention? You know, I mean, we've had other teen-on-teen violence here in the Valley. We've had a couple of cases just recently that were caught on camera. We had one up in North Phoenix. We had one at Lake Pleasant, all caught on camera. Those 2 people, they lived. But why there was such outcry on this one? What was so different about this one?
Yeah, honestly, I think the main difference here is that in this city, we arguably live in the safest city in the country. Right? It's been voted as one of the safest places to live in the country. And so having this many teens participating in such violent acts in the safest place in the country, it really caused people to think, are we really even safe? Are our teens safe going to schools? Are our teens safe going to these parties and having the friends that they're associating with? We're not known as a place that has cartels or drug gangs or people on the street doing things like this, right? This is Gilbert, Arizona. And so it kind of shocked the system and made people question whether or not this is even a safe place.
So I wanted to ask as well, because I know there were a lot of people that came forward, these community events. We even had some folks trying to ban brass knuckles.
Yes.
You know, and so the cities are doing it. You have Chandler, Gilbert, you know, that are going in and banning brass knuckles, trying to like curb some of this stuff. But then you can't even get the state legislature on board. It was denied twice statewide. So I guess how do you move forward and really combating this when you can't even get state legislators on board?
Yeah, it's a tough thing, right? To get a bill passed is tough. We know that is a thing, but to counteract that, I know that people are really pushing the ability to make swarming laws more of a thing, right? It may not be brass knuckles, but the state of Arizona is really trying to push the ability to make, if more teens or more people are involved in group assaults or group-like events, they want to make it easier to punish these people with gang-like offenses. And they're calling it the Preston Law, they're calling it the swarming law. They're offering these, looking to try to pass this legislation in order to make this more harsh, right? And that's the same principle as banning these types of instruments or enhancing sentencing ranges. And so I hope that is going to establish the same culpability or the same sentences.
Everyone looks at this case and it really is shocking. A 16-year-old who had barely any skin in the game, and it seemed random. It's awful. It's awful. It is it's every parent's worst nightmare.
Yeah. Something
really interesting is that this has actually prompted you to go speak to different youth groups about what we should take away from this case, particularly about choices and consequences. What do you say to parents and to kids who are teenagers and who are watching this, terrified that something like this could happen? What are some of the things that you've been saying?
Yeah, we're talking about people with underdeveloped brains, right? We're 15 to 18-year-olds, even up to 21-year-old young adults or kids that are making life-altering choices. They don't fully understand the consequences to their actions. I've been going around the East Valley trying to just educate that the law is written in pen and not in pencil, right? It is in permanent marker. Something like this can bring harsh consequences that will follow you for the rest of your life. And you make or affiliate yourself with any group that encourages any sort of main criminal behavior, the consequences could be just as severe for you, like in Mr. Hines' case, where he delivered one kick, right? And not 50 or 60, or not to the face, or not using brass knuckles, or not using a bat, right? But one kick can carry a punishment up to 21 years in prison. That's the type of consequences that I'm trying to educate this youth on, of saying, you participate in big boy crimes, you're gonna have big boy consequences.
And they just don't understand that you're at a house party and this just gets out of control. And then the cell phones that are involved, Snapchat, the videos, people sharing those videos, the consequences to those actions. I'm hoping that after this horrific case, that people can now pull from that and do things differently.
Yeah, me too.
Wow, what a story.
It's interesting, the swarming law, that's what they're calling it. Yeah.
Well, and you need to.
Yeah.
You need to, and you need to make it so clear to people that when you jump in, even if you're a bystander, you do hold some accountability there too.
Absolutely. The ability to communicate with thousands of people within seconds, to have people in a certain area saying this is what we're going to do within seconds, and then jumping on one person or jumping on one person on the ground or one victim, it needs to bring harsher penalties for sure.
It's going to be really interesting to see what happens in court today, because again, there's 6 other people who need to be charged in this case. And so whatever the judge decides, that's going to make some big changes. All right, Adam, thank you so much for your time.
Yeah, thank you for having me.
Yeah.
We are going to be streaming it as well.
Right.
So today, 12 plus. Right there, 1 o'clock. That's when we're expected this to start. It's expected to go for several hours as well, because there's going to be a lot of victim statements that are going to be read out loud.
Which is kind of surprising it'll go for several hours, because this is sentencing. But yeah, we're going to have a lot.
So 1 o'clock, you can stream that right here. You're at it right now on 12 plus. So that'll switch over at 1 o'clock.